When it comes to pre-hard mode boss progression in Terraria, there's usually an order the player will follow, starting off with the Eye of Cthulhu, the Eater of Worlds or Brain of Cthulhu, Skeletron, then of course the Wall of Flesh. In between this, however, you may be able to squeeze in the optional side boss, such as King Slime or Queen Bee, for some extra goodies. Now, in all of this, there is one more other boss in particular that somehow gets missed by around 50% of players. Of course, I'm talking about the one and only Deerclops. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Terraria's most forgotten boss and what could be done to make it more mainstream. Before we jump into it though, if you enjoy these vids, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Okay then, let's dive in. Off the bat, I think it's only fair we looked at how you summon the damn thing, which unfortunately is where some of the issues arise already. You see, although Deerclops has two methods of spawning, both can be a little time consuming to say the least, starting with its summon item, the Deer Thing, requiring you to farm snow flinks in your underground snow biome for free flinks fur, which, although sounds easy on paper, actually took me longer than I'd like to admit due to their lower spawn rate. Additionally, you'll need 5 Demonite or Crimtane ore, obtained easiest from your Eye of Cthulhu. And finally, 1 lens to then craft your Deer Thing at an altar. Now, to be honest, this summon is relatively simple, but will still require you to go out your way to obtain it in nearly every playthrough. So, with this in mind, how else do you spawn Deerclops? Well, interestingly, Deerclops can spawn naturally, assuming you're in the surface snow biome, during a blizzard, at exactly midnight, away from NPCs, with at least 9 defense or 200 health. Yeah, this is quite precise, and honestly, probably has more chance happening when you least expect it than trying to force this criteria. Anyway, assuming you got it to spawn, let's look at the fight. Compared to the other pre-hardmode bosses, I'd actually say Deerclops is one of the most complex, having a bunch of different attack patterns that are extremely tricky to dodge with poor mobility. So, assuming you at least have a dash and some boots, weapons-wise, a solid bow will do well for you rangers, a water bolt or bee gun will do well for mage, a late pre-hardmode sword like the Volcano will do the trick for melee, however I'd highly recommend something like the Thorn Chakram instead. And finally, for Summoner, the Snapform Whip with either Vampire Frogs or Hornets will do you just fine. So hopefully you're able to come out victorious. So now the question is, was it really worth it? Luckily for us, unlike bosses like Skeletron, Deerclops does come with a fully fledged drop pool, including 4 weapons and 4 interesting items for you to obtain. Starting with Loose the Axe, a very solid axe for chopping trees and close range melee combat. The Weather Pane, a tornado firing mage weapon that can pierce and ricochet off enemies. The Houndiest Shootiest, a simple support sentry that can complement any summoner build. And finally, the Pneumatic Horn, a junk firing machine gun, which can be pretty nice early on. Out of all of these though, there's only one item I know you've got your eyes on. Yes, the eye bone. If you're looking for a reason to fight Deerclops in your playthrough, look no further than this S-tier pet summon, spawning an openable chest that follows you around, effectively doubling your inventory space. In many ways, I see this as a buffed version of the Money Trough, a much rarer item, obtained usually much later into the game. Very cool stuff. Unfortunately though, for me, this is where Deerclops' usefulness drops off, because the Bone Helm Expert Mode item is extremely meh, and for the stage I'd usually fight Deerclops, which is post-Skeletron, I'll already be using other more powerful weapons than any other drops. So I mean, what can we do to make him more relevant? Well, for starters, I think the main reason so many people miss this boss altogether is genuinely not knowing it's even in the game. Instead of being so unreliable, I'd love to see a spawn mechanic similar to the Eye of Cthulhu, where you get a message in the bottom left. This could even be shaken up a bit by saying something like a beast has been sighted in your tundra, so you still have a choice whether to fight it or not. And finally, drop-wise, while this may fix the relevancy of some weapons, I feel like the Bone Helm can do better, maybe with increased knockback or range. Without some changes like this though, Deerclops may remain as the most forgotten boss in Terraria. This has been sockrteez, and I'll see you in the next one.